Thank you for calling the Starfinder Helpdesk. Goat King speaking. If you're having trouble seeing through the haze of the stars, blocking your mystic eye, I think we can help with that. First of all, there's a helpful cheat sheet I found on Reddit. I will have a link to the original post, as well as a link to my Discord, where I have an updated version of the cheat sheet. What do you need from your character sheet? You need to know your Mystic skill bonus, and at later levels how many ranks you have in the Mystic skill, as well as how many resolve points you have. What do you need to know from the Starship sheet? In short, nothing. As the Magic Officer, your job is to pull on Mystic forces in and around your ship and space itself in order to give your team an edge in Starship combat. Acting during the engineering phase of Starship combat, you have 5 possible actions you can take. Your first action is Eldritch Shot. This is a push action, which means if the system it relies upon, in this case weapons, is malfunctioning or wrecked, you cannot perform this action. The DC is 10 plus 1.5 times the Starship tier. The weapon you target this round gets a +5 to its range for its first attack. Your second option is Precognition. With a DC 10 plus 1.5 times the Starship tier, you pull on the Mystic forces and grant your pilot a +2 on their initiative check. Your third action is Scrying, which functions quite similarly to the Scan action, with a DC 5 plus 1.5 times the enemy Starship tier. As per the Scan action, when you succeed, you learn a new piece of information about the ship, going in order from basic information to defenses, weapons, load, and other. If you exceed the DC by 5, you learn an extra piece of information, and every time you repeat this action, you resume learning information from where you left off. Your next action is Mystic Haze, which is a push action relying upon the sensors of the ship. With the DC 15 plus 1.5 times the Starship tier, you grant your ship a +1 to its armor class this round, and enemy science officers have to roll twice and take the worst result to scan or lock onto your ship. This action becomes available at or shortly after level 6, when you have 6 ranks in the Mysticism skill. It costs 1 resolve point to use. The last option you have available to you as the Magic Officer, unlocking at 12th level or shortly after once you have 12 ranks in the Mystic skill, and costing 1 resolve point to perform, is a DC 20 plus 1.5 times the Starship tier, and you reduce the distance between turns by 1, making your pilot more maneuverable during flight. Again, thank you for calling the Starfinder Helpdesk. Now that we've cleared up that Mystic Haze, your mind's eye should be able to do the rest.